1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Gamers, users of the internet, Diablo aficionados, lend me your ears. I come to bury Diablo 3, not to praise him. The evil that games do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Diablo 3. The noble LOE hath told you Diablo 3 was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Diablo 3 answered it. Here, under the leave of LOE and the rest. For Diablo 3 is an honourable game. So are they all honourable games. Come I to speak in Diablo 3's funeral? Eh? Maybe? No? Did you like that? What'd you say? So why am I disturbing poor William Shakespeare and involving him in the Diablo 3, Diablo 4 drama or flavor of the month? What is this heresy, you say? Well, first of all, my friend, welcome to the modern age where the sacred and the profane meet every day at Starbucks and, I don't know, play Magic the Gathering or something. The best chums, so deal with it. Moving on. What am I doing in Diablo 3? Why am I talking about Diablo 3? Well, I was considering I was looking at all the gossip on YouTube about Diablo 4, or I was checking out other people's opinions and impressions of the game. I liked it, so I wanted to know what was the general, feel about it. But and I was checking out some of the footage I did. So, let's see, wait a minute. Okay, so as I was saying, I was looking at the if you put on YouTube Diablo 4, I was checking out the general opinions that are going about, and I've been doing so since the early access was out. So I'm kind of up to date with the rumors, the corridor rumors. You know what's and aside from the latest videos, generally what we've been seeing is reviews, gameplays mostly, and we've also had some guides, which I find very very weird, basically, right? And that's what mostly I'm trying to come with through with here. That it's really not. We're not ready to have guides. There's there's builds already, and there's some videos. There's a couple I've seen. I can't find them anymore that claim to have already broken the game and doing immense damage and yeah, having basically broken the game. There's also a lot of reaction videos from Asmongold, sorry, who's somehow reviewing all other people's reviews, and by doing so, I guess also promoting other streamers, since he's a really big name in the industry, in the sector. Okay, so class guides and all of this. So, and I want to kind of explain to you why it's way too early to do these things, and maybe when they come out, who to start checking out what names have been doing this for longer and have probably a better claim on determining if there is something efficient or good build, let's say, or not. So around this controversy, I guess let's put some of, well, we can stay here for a while longer, and then I can go on my. So there's been, in terms of guides, there's been some interesting things, and people have also found exploits already, just that they're only applicable for the situation for the open beta or the early access open beta, which is not around anymore. But basically, for example, there was a boss. There will be a boss somewhere where there's an elite spawn who you can kill, and he's level 35. I remind you that the Diablo 4 beta is limited to level 25, and you're limited to the starting region zone. And yes, the game does scale up with you, but certain bosses will always be 2 levels above you, at least. So this elite is, well, no, this elite is level 37. He's close to one of the other zones. So if you kill him, you have a chance to get loot that is higher on the table level, right, than what you get generally around the region which you're limited to. So you can find objects that you can't wear, like level 34, but you can also find level 25 items and legendary sometimes. So they do something like when the item, the best legendary items you're getting when playing normally the game, the open beta, I don't know, can give you something like 350 damage base weapon, right? So you can find weapons that have a base damage of something like 500 or 700 sometimes, and kind of a big advantage. But by then, you need to do this, you have to go there at level 25, and there's no other content, so you could, I don't know, guess just kill trash mobs and then go and do the quests like that. But it's just, you know, an exploit to be an exploit and not really a useful one for anything else. Other things that have been said in terms of balance and specifically referring to build guides, immediately it has been noticed that the sorcerer was very performing, especially for damage. So you're using electrocute and you're stacking up all your points in it, and stuff like that, so you can basically kill things very fast. Now, a video was circulating, I think, by Asmongold, and I can't find it, about it was showing a boss kill side by side, barbarian and sorcerer, the same boss, on a timer. So I think the wizard did it in something like 1 minute and 30, or under 2 minutes, and the warrior was close. The barbarian was more close to the 4 minute mark, to give you an estimate of same player, efficient player, etc. Using 2 different characters. Anyways, or I don't know. The video is there, and since then the situation has actually evolved. There's been some guides for the barbarian. And to tell you the truth, aside of the guides, I've tried all 3 classes. I've only played the barbarian on hardcore until level 12. You could already not exploit or abuse, but you could already stack, and there's a few right ways to spec it. To do AoE, it's a bit more complicated. But at the end of the day, when you're leveling up, the electrocute is just killing everything that on the screen that you're even not seeing. So you're leveling a lot faster, you're going around a lot faster, and that thing can be made to do a lot of damage on the bosses. And while the warrior build is very efficient in high damage, it's situational. You have to pack the things and stuff like that, so it takes longer. And there's a very efficient melee rogue build that has high damage. But all of this obviously applies to level 25. And when the game will be out, this is a transitory phase, and a very small one will be in your journey. You're going all the way to level 99, so the amount of time you're going to stay at 25 compared to 24 is, you know, compared to other levels where you're going to go forward, is going to be so little that whatever is imbalanced at that point of the game is hardly going to be relevant later on. Um, so don't believe all the guides that are telling you that how to make your build, and just do what you want. There is a couple of generic ways that each class can be made more efficient. The wizard is definitely one of the most OP classes for leveling up so far, from what we can see. We'll check out this weekend for the druid and the necromancer. I still expect the wizard to be on the S list, tier list, if you want to call it. But at this point, I would like to show you the different skill trees of Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4. Why would I want to do this? Well, because I want to give you an idea of who to listen to when you're looking for guides on Diablo 4, because there seems to be a lot of bullshit on around. For example, I think there's a lot of clickbait in terms of drama. There's especially small streamers have taken advantage of the drama factor of saying that the game is not good and putting thumbnails around on this verve feel to sort of capitalize on views. I mean, Diablo 4 is a big name and it will have its own attention. So, you know, yeah. And so to be mindful of that. Another thing that I've noticed is that so in my times as in using YouTube as a platform, I have been approached and I've never used them, but I'm telling you this because this is what I'm seeing now. I usually get approached for people who can artists that can make your thumbnails, right? I'm saying this because I've noticed that a lot of these thumbnails, especially the most provocative ones, so the ones that say possibly that the game is really, really bad and it's trash and not to buy it and stuff like that, don't really make those statements as bravely, as boldly as the thumbnail does. And there's a lot more art in the thumbnails than usual. So I probably see what I'm trying to say is there's probably somebody else doing the thumbnails compared to the person doing the video. And it's kind of summarizes in a very generic way what the video is about. So I think there's a lot more of this now, and specifically in this case, I'm seeing a lot of a big use of poorly relative related thumbnails to the subject. So that's kind of relevant. In the meantime, we can look at some of, I wanted to look at some of my footage, I guess, of Diablo 3 while I speak, so let's do that. So I'm showing you this footage as well to kind of give you an idea of the mobility and the spatial awareness that you need to have in supposedly what is similar to endgame. This is a party with more than 4 people, so it's kind of implies to that. It's a world boss. It should give us more. It should be closer to the end game than other things that we've seen in the beta so far, basically. So if you, well, I'll start dying a lot more here, and the use of AoE and poison and being aware of the skills, what they do, and how many there are. It's more towards a traditional raiding concept, but I'll let you decide on that. That's not what I want to talk about mostly, but it's related. So just to give you a feel of the spatial performance, or yeah, the level of performance you're gonna have to comply to if, yeah, I'm dead. But they could have res me. That's irrelevant. We'll just so I wanted to talk about the skill trees because and we'll go into the trees. Unfortunately, I don't have a widescreen footage of the Diablo 4 tree, but we'll go into and see the other ones from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 because they are very closely related, and Diablo 4 takes inspiration both from the Diablo 3 and the Diablo 2 system, putting them together and in my opinion, putting the best things of both into one system. And I'll try and explain to you why that is, and the end the point I will get to at the end is that there is a very competitive scene in Diablo 3, that it is the most informed probably on what the end game will be also in Diablo 4, and that those are the guides that you kind of want to check out. There's names like let's see, Wajito, oh god, I'm really bad at this, but I remember Raxanthrax, the people who you would look at to see builds for Diablo 3 Greater Rift pushing. Now, just to give you an idea, the scenario for pushing Greater Rifts is very competitive, and the people who do the guides are also playing these builds in the beta, in the seasonal beta, so they come and they already know which are the builds that can be used to push Grifts fast as possible and that do more damage. They've been on the scene for a long time, so they know all the seasons. They've seen the evolution. The game has evolved a lot, and I want to talk about that as well, because um, there's a lot of things that Diablo 4 takes from Diablo 3, and that would initially irk me as a gamer if I heard that, but uh, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Diablo 3 has evolved a lot, and I will get into that later, but I played it recently and I found it more enjoyable than previously. So the game has improved a lot in the last year, in its 10-year history. It's more fun to play somehow. So I can go into the details of that later in the video. If you're interested, you can stay around until then. If not, I'll just leave it to later on. But it's basically they learned a lot of lessons from Diablo 3 in the end. Well, it was a 10-year period, right? And the lessons they did learn, they're bringing it to Diablo 4, and that's a very good thing in my terms, because, well, yes. Now that we've taken this out of the way, let's check out skill trees so we can get into the details of why Diablo 3 gameplay is more relevant, and knowledge of Diablo 3 metagaming and endgame is more relevant to Diablo 4. Now, bear in mind, I'm not selling myself as a Diablo 3 veteran or hardcore player. I have done my fair share of seasons here and there, but just a couple. I can clear Grift 150, but not within the given time, at least in this season. But I can explain part of that as well, which I can do, so I can give you an idea of what the competitiveness can be in Diablo 4, or what we can expect it to be coming from Diablo 3, and why it is that coming from other parts of the community will not be as useful as having knowledge of Diablo 3 in terms of Diablo 4. So who to probably listen to for guides and stuff like that if you want them to be efficient. So let's stop this here. So this is a sorcerer 3 in Diablo 4. 3, like 3, not the number. Okay, and so Diablo 4 has, like Diablo 3, 6 functional buttons. You can learn more skills, but you can't assign more skills. So whatever the situation is on your skill tree, you're limited to these 6 buttons for the skills that you can actually use in combat without respecing or reassigning your skill bar. No, let's not talk about exceptions. So the way this works is this tree has 6 tires. Each tire is equivalent to one slot on your skill bar. Um, this makes it different from a lot of other RPGs and makes Diablo very its own genre, and specifically one that it went more down the road of with Diablo 3. What I'm talking about is there's a lot of RPGs that are more number-based, especially those that have the might and magic formula, so the turn-based formula. Uh, Diablo is not turn-based; it's action basically. It's so things are interacting with you while you are making your choices. You don't have the time, the wait time. You're not doing your move and then the computer's doing your move or your enemy or whatever, right? Your but so there's always been what you can call an arcade or a spatial dimension to the Diablo franchise. And there are people who were saying on the videos that compared to other um, RPGs around there, Diablo is a lot more arcadish and wants to dumb down the concept. Diablo 4. Well, it did that in Diablo 3 already. It doesn't dumb down the concept from Diablo 3, but there is very little competitors in this specific field that give more importance to. There is a lot of the spatial awareness that you have in an MMO, but there is a lot less skills. A MMO has in raiding, you're going to have to know the skills. There's also a lot more scripting in the gameplay compared to this, which is actually randomized. So that will change how you have to adapt to it. And what is also more relevant is the reduced number of skills. So the ones you're going to have to choose to the builds compared to MMOs are going to have to be a lot more efficient in doing. I wouldn't start comparing and thinking of the differences between the MMO and specifically a raid in an MMO and a raid maybe in Diablo. We still haven't seen in Diablo 3, for example, a raid with bigger numbers than a four-man party. But there is a lot of this spatial, the similitudes. It shares. Let's not use a complicated word when we can use an easy one. Yeah, it shares a lot of things with the awareness that you have to have in an MMO raid. So avoiding enemy spells, spatially getting out of their way, not running out of a circle, not sitting on fire, blah blah blah. And also, and in Diablo 3, don't get me wrong, there is a series of predefined boss, but you don't know which boss you're going to get until you get there. Blah blah blah, and it's randomized from a pool. In an MMO raid, you are going in a predefined fight, which most of the time is scripted to one degree or another, a lot more than this one. So you know that boss, at the very least, some MMOs can be less scripted and more randomized than others, but you're going to have to deal with this series of skills and these weaknesses, and so you can prepare beforehand a lot more than you can in the Diablo franchise, where you actually have to train and do it constantly to sort of have the instincts to react to those things rather than the predefined knowledge of it. But both help. There's more of that side basically, right? And the skill tree reflects this because you're limited to that. Now, how does the skill tree work? So we can compare it to the Diablo 2 and the Diablo 3 skill tree. So this first root, tier 1, let's call it, is what your game assigns to your skill slot number 1, which is your left mouse click. It can go on every time you unlock a new tier. You can put it in anywhere on this 6-button skill bar, but The second button is usually the right mouse, and the following tires are buttons 1 to 4, right? So, like, nothing is limiting you to which skills you put in the quick bar. This is an exception, but it's also what people actually do in endgame in Diablo 3. So you can totally not put a skill from one tire, and you can put 2 skills from another tire. You know what I mean? You can not put a skill. Well, you're going to have to unlock things, so you're going to have to invest points. Let's say you want to invest instead of only 5 points in this. Well, we open the next 3 when, in this case, in 2 points. So you can already put 2 points and then unlock the next one. But let's assume you don't want to do that. At that point, you just skip this tree and you keep investing in tire 1 until you unlock tire 3. Then you invest in 2 skills in tire 3 instead of 1. Traditionally, what you're expected to do, for example, in tire 1 is choose one of these and put it on your skill bar. If it's at 0, you don't have it. So at the beginning, when you get it, you choose one, and that is your skill. To get another one, you would have to invest there. So you could choose to invest in improving that one, or by giving it additional functionalities, which are those 3 little extensions that come out from each skill. Or you can choose to invest up to 5 points to improve the base damage of that skill. Now this is where the Diablo 2 formula comes in, because Diablo 3 doesn't have you just unlock these skills as you go on, and then you can choose a rune for the skill. So there's 5 runes. So just to give you an idea, if this is Diablo 4, let's say this is Diablo 3, let's give it another color, blue. Let's say this is Diablo 3. Instead of having 1 first rune and then 2 other runes that would improve, you can only choose one of the second tier runes in Diablo 4. In Diablo 3, what you have is 5 runes, something like this. Yeah, oh, I'm not the best. And stop. So there isn't a second tier after that. There's just 1 tier of runes, and you can only choose one of these, basically, right? You can't choose when you're not investing points. So when you choose this one here, yeah, that's a terrible circle. You're not choosing all the others, right? Basically, unless you have an item that is giving you all of them, but that's an exception. So if you choose one of them, you can't choose the other ones. In Diablo 4, this is not the case. You can select all of them. It's a question of efficiency, whether you choose to or not. But in your leveling process, you will want to unlock the tree and go down and get all the functionalities, etc. I'm not going to explain all the different tires, what they are expected to do for you. There's defensive tire that is mostly defensive, another that is blah blah blah. What is relevant here is that there's a bit of a difference between how the Diablo 3 skills work and the Diablo 4 skills work. To begin with, there is an added effect to each skill, but each skill has less variations. Diablo 4 has 5 variations for every rune, as we said. Now, where does the Diablo 2 formula come in? Well, it comes in when you are investing points. In Diablo 3, you can't further improve a skill by adding points to it, because you don't get points. In Diablo 2, you level up to level 99, compared to Diablo 3, where you get to level 70, but that's not related. Well, it is, but the point is you get 1 skill point for every level in Diablo 2, plus a couple from quests. But Um, so at top level, you end up having 99 points, and you can invest all these points in the skills. And what you're trying to do is you're min-maxing, try and make everything more efficient. Here, the min-maxing is limited to at most 5 points in one skill. There are some passives that have 3 points in it, 0 out of 3, 1, 2, 3. And maybe some of the runes have. No, I don't think so. I don't think I remember seeing the runes actually having. Well, maybe there's a couple where you can invest multiple points in one of the ramifications. But generally, the rule is that you can invest 5 points at most in one skill. Then you can go higher than 5 because they also reintroduced skill affixes from Diablo 2, where you can get +2 skill to all defensive skills. And that will actually is quite neat in Diablo 2. If you got something that said +2 to all agility skills or archery skills, it would give +2 to the skills that you already unlocked. It didn't give you access to the ones you hadn't invested points in. In Diablo 4, this is not the case. If you find an item that says +2 to all tier 2 skills, you are going to unlock all the tier 2 skills, whether you invested them or not. But we will see how that plays out. More to the point, so you can end up with these. What I'm trying to get to is that you can end up having like 6 or 7 points invested in one skill instead of just the normal 5 out of 5 you could normally do. But which so I don't know how much these skill affixes will be at level 99. Maybe you can find objects that give you +33 to skills. Um, so maybe you can see the same numbers that you see in Diablo 2. You end up having something like 30 points invested in skills in Diablo 3. 2, sorry. So really maximizing one aspect of your gameplay. Here you can't really go all in on one thing, but you still have that system of being able to maximize into what you are actually using. So these two systems come together with these functions into what is the Diablo 4 tree. 1, 2, 3. No, that's 3. Tree. Plant the tree. How many trees do you want me to plant? 3. Okay. So let's go into Diablo 3 now. Diablo 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. Diablo 3. 3. 3. 3. 3. Oh wow. The skill tree. So it works a bit different. You don't actually have a tree. You have the various tires are represented here by the button, but they're not because you can choose from different tires. In fact, this skill set that you're seeing here doesn't use skills from tire 1. I think also tire 2. If primary, secondary. Yeah, no, I'm not using anything on the secondary bar. This is the defensive tire 3, tire 4, tire 5, tire 6, and back to primary. So if you choose a skill, you're going to have the 5 runes, which add an effect compared to something else. So you can actually have one skill do different kind of damage from, for example, this is electrocute, it does lightning damage. All these runes are also on lightning, but there is one that will give it a fire damage. So the runes change the functionality, but you can only choose one of them for each skill. So you're not investing points in it, you're just assigning the different function that you want to use with your build. For example, you have an ice build, so you might want to chill your enemies, and you go and pick up a skill that actually goes and chill them, so all your other you're maximizing them. Uh, and every skill has these 5 additional functions. So if you were to, I don't know, do it with a Diablo 4 graphics, then you would have every tire would have its skills. So in this case, it would have four icons, and then each of these icons would have 5 little um, branches, and you can only select one of those branches unless you respec. Here it's, yeah, respecking is different. It's easier. In Diablo 4, the respecking is paid with cash, not real money, game cash. Um, Increasingly as you level up. So, and there's not much to it. So but it affects, of course, the way you have to play. Now let's jump into the Diablo 2 skill tree. 1 second. Okay, wait. No. Oh, no, I didn't open Diablo 2. This is Diablo Immortal. Let's check. I have no idea how the skill tree works here, but it's very cute. Oh, how cute. I've no idea, right? Okay, let's go to Diablo 2. Okay, why does it open? Oh, because the same button I assigned for this. Anyways, achievements assigned. So we're back into Diablo 3, and um, the competitive scene in Diablo. So in no way am I in that scene, but to give you a idea. So you can see here that the solo wizard best time for season 28 for Greater Rift, tire 150 is 2 minutes 20. Now, this is just in Europe. Let's put the 4-player leaderboard. Give you another. The best team that cleared Grift 150 did it in 1 minute and 18 seconds. And that's quite fast to I don't know. Let's see if I can put my so I've cleared it 150 with a 4-man group in 13 minutes. If I put solo wizard, I haven't cleared it solo. I've cleared 140 in 14 minutes. This guy here, I think he cleared it in time to be top 1000 in Europe, and he cleared it in 13 minutes at the time. Or I don't know, this is maybe his new time or something like that. But so not all the player base is pushing 150 solo, but this current season has pushed up a lot what the community can achieve, basically, right? And even then, not everybody is. Even I don't consider myself casual. I'm certainly not a hardcore Diablo 3 player. I've skipped a lot of seasons. I think I started in season of 4, but I can't find any. I don't know. There's no data there. So whatever. But and let's go back. I think I came back. I started playing just to give you an idea of my credentials in terms of how I know Diablo, how much I know Diablo. I played it at launch until I guess sometime around when they removed the auction uh, house, which was part of the reasons that it wasn't fun. And the game was a completely different beast then. Everybody, but it wasn't based on sets and set bonuses that interact with each other. Didn't have legendary gems, which add an additional function to that. And I don't think it even had canonized cube, but I might be mistaken. Um, so I stopped playing then. I came back at some point to play when seasons were introduced. So I played one of the first seasons or something like that. And then I dropped the game for a long time. I came back somewhere around season 20, I think. Solo Demon Hunt. Let's try it. Season 21. Not yet. Season 22. No. Maybe as a necromancer. Yes. Okay, so I came back in 2020, and I think I played a season or two. I was pushing back then um, Greater Rift 110. Lochido was doing, which is the guy who was cleared 150 that I mentioned earlier, was doing 132 back then. So 2 years ago, the, the metagaming community was pushing Grift's 130. Some people had cleared Grift 150, and those were the people that were giving you the guides on the builds, and trying it on the beta. These people are still around, and they are very competitive. In fact, they struggle to compete on the top end because there is so much competition that let's go to the current season. Clan, no, not clan, Europe. There you go. Current, 1, 2, 3, Europe, hardcore, normal, 150, 2 minutes 20. Okay. So the first team cleared it into. Strange, I thought yesterday it was 1 minute. Maybe I'm wrong. Is it the current season? No, no, it's not. That's one. Season 28. There you 1 minute 18. More like it. Right? 118 is quite fast, right? But as I told you, 2 years ago, this wasn't the norm. Maybe some people were pushing 150, but the very top of the meta gaming um, hardcore community, whatever your preferred term for that, whatever this is. Um, so, and the people who were giving you the builds that would help you achieve this and had all the information, crunch numbers, were doing it on the beta for the seasons. So uh, they were very involved in the community and the community trying to make the game and push the game harder. So compared to games that are maybe more turn-based or games that are more cooperative based because they require grades, etc. to certain levels, uh, this game has its own dimension, and it hasn't had it just now, and not only in Diablo 3 but also Diablo 2 is much more spatially related than oh, somebody joined, uh, distracted me a bit, than other games, than Diablo. Basically Diablo 3 is very circumstantial to your relationship with where the boss is, where you are, what other mobs are doing. You need to be spatially a bit more than in MMO raid, because it's more randomized, there's a lot more enemies and blah blah blah. And you need to sort of there's more spatial relation to when and how you use your skill than in an MMO raid. In an MMO raid, you have your rotation, um, and you can sort of expect your rotation to take care of the damage at least, and then you can sort of dodge and get out of the way of certain skills, AoE skills or stuff like that, or go in certain places that keep you safe. There's no specific place that will keep you safe in Diablo. So I'll try and show you what my problems are with pushing Grift 150. Yeah, I would like to do it without somebody in there, but that is what I'm trying. So if he wants to join me in 150, he's welcome to, but that's what I'm doing. Hurrashed. I'm not in a socializing mode. Saying what I'm doing. This is gonna go down terribly. But just to show you, I have to push forward, find a boss. Since my build, based on this cosmic thing that you see falling from the sky, I'm trying to, and the more enemies I hit, the more I can. There you go, we found the boss. So we're supposed to go and find more bosses and drag this thing on, and in the meantime, as we connect with other bosses, and that one follows us, we should be able to do damage and kill some of the trash mobs. Where are these guys? Come on. Why, how does he expect me to answer him? Oh no, 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 I don't want to die. I did. Drag them in, let's move out. Okay. So as you see, I'm having to use teleport. Teleport, by the way, activates an extra use of me. So I'm trying to use it. And I also need to use it to activate shield, but I need to teleport 15 yards away from. In the meantime, why is my stacks, okay, 3 stacks, elemental stacks, and not 4, that should be good. More damage. Are these guys coming around or not? Yes, the boss is coming, so we can keep going. Hopefully. We should find a pylon somewhere. The boss is yellow, so I can probably skip him if he doesn't follow, because I want to find blue bosses. We're behind on the schedule and we haven't found the boss, so that's really bad, but this is a really bad map, so we're just going to skip forward, and it's just more of the same map. So you need, if you're pushing Grift 150, you probably want to skip all the maps that aren't open map, according to the guides. Another boss here, okay. Yellow, that's not good at all. Not good at all. Oh, that's nice. Can you please charge my mana, mana, mana? Is something dying? No, nothing's dying. I can't. There, this one. Now it's full. Now it's full. Keep going. A shard. I mean, a pylon, please. No, nothing. Let's call it, right? Okay. So I close it or no, because the guy joined it. Anyways, seen it this far. Thank you for watching. Maybe consider liking and subscribing if you don't want to. Thanks anyways. Don't worry. I hope this sort of gives you some direction on what to expect from Diablo 4 and not just from the beta, and which guides to look towards for efficient gaming purposes, I guess. Which part of the communities, the various communities that are coming into this, are probably the best and the most informed on how to be efficient in Diablo 4. So basically, if you go to your go-to people from AC Veins or whatever, for Diablo 3, because those will have a better idea of what end game and gaming requirements will be in 4. Uh, so that's it for now. Peace and prosperity. I hope the rest of the day finds you well. Catch you around soon. This is Purple Rabbit out.